Well, in that story, you would have seen somebody who was part of gangs back in the day, but he's now a gangs mediator. He's joining us now on the line. Welcome, Witbooi. Thanks so much indeed for joining us. I just wonder, how difficult was it to get these gangs to agree to a ceasefire?
It was a bit difficult in relation to what our country is facing. Like I said before, it's like all these men and his women they all have families, and they also understand the importance of all South Africans getting through this and being able to beat this COVID virus at the end of the day.
It is quite a surprise because, you know, without the virus, a lot of women, children are still being killed, particularly in crossfire. What's different now that they should care so much?
I think that, like I said, you see the challenge is that as much as everybody's focusing on food parcels and getting rid of the virus, I think the gangs have finally come to the point of realizing that we can't just allow a certain amount of people to do this. We all need to work together and therefore put down whatever differences, put aside whatever differences, put down whatever can hurt the community and come together as one and work towards a primary goal and to follow the primary call of the president to say that can we follow the regulations and can we as a country stand together as one, which is a good thing.
All right, so what does a ceasefire mean? Is this stopping using guns? Is it stopping using and selling narcotics? What does a ceasefire mean?
It means ceasing all illegal activities, all criminal activities, and also assisting to build communities, you know, restructuring, also using this time to restructure relationships that were broken in the process of war and in the process of having done all of these illegal things within the community, as they also want to play a part. And being part of a community themselves, this is an opportunity for them to do that.
Are you confident that it's a ceasefire that will hold? You know, it's quite tempting, I guess, when things are quiet, that perhaps some people might do things quietly.
I think that you can never really say exactly what's going to happen, because as we say, like in Cape Town, we have the not the war, the disagreement and the clashes with the police in relation to food parcels. I think what is important to note is that if all organs can work together, and like they are now currently working together, if that relationship can be maintained, then we will get through this. Everybody needs to play their part. Government needs to play their part. The community needs to play their part. And all gang leaders are playing their part, and that's important.
Help us understand the kind of setup within the gangs. If the leadership says something, is there a general compliance by the foot soldiers? Is there immediate obedience?
I think, contrary to popular belief, gangs don't just operate as you would get doing things, you know, just willy-nilly. There are structures in place, and once a structure of authority speaks down, people tend to follow those instructions. If there should be a disagreement of those instructions, they would sit down and outline these disagreements and speak on which positive or possible way forward. So there is a mandate that has been sent, and the ceasefire has been rolled out nationally, and therefore everybody has said that we are prepared to do the ceasefire and to support our communities during this COVID-19 pandemic.
As you can imagine, the sale of narcotics is a very lucrative thing. This lockdown and the ceasefire is quite disruptive. I'm just finding it difficult to see how a prolonged lockdown can happen, because that means a lot of income lost. Hello, Witbooi?
Okay, I've got you now, sir.
Yeah.
I lost you there.
Now, I was just saying that the sale of narcotics brings in a lot of money, and I would imagine that it's difficult to keep this lockdown in place, this ceasefire in place, with money being lost every day.
I get what you're saying, but like I'm saying, that we might all be looking at food parcels and trying to help communities, but what we also should be looking at is the psychological impact that all of this has on communities. And if gangs and various elements within our communities are not working together, then what's going to happen is that we might have a bigger problem at the end of the day. Crime might increase drastically. We might have new gangs coming up if everybody is not going to work together to make sure that this process is successfully maintained, and therefore other role players are playing their part and making sure that there's not a greater loss in the running of these things.
What are the chances of a permanent ceasefire?
Well, it's at this specific moment, like as we're working with various communities and various organizations within communities, people have been criticizing this process, saying that why don't these gangs just give up? You know, why don't they just like leave this? And I'm saying that giving up is one thing, but we need a substitute. We need to put them into places where they can also have value. And right now, gangs have been their process of value, and this a moment of a ceasefire is also helping us to create new avenues of saying how do we then bridge the gap and actually even make it permanent. But like I said, we've asked for this, they've given this, and on top of this, let's see what happens moving forward.
All right, so a lot of these gangs are also quite connected within the correctional services facilities. Does this spread right into those areas as well?
Yes, it's as I said, it's a national request or a national command, and therefore it stretches to every corner of South Africa.
All right, Witbooi, thanks so much indeed for those insights and the important work that you're doing, and let's hope that there's some lasting benefits that comes out of this ceasefire, even if it is temporary. Thanks so much indeed for your time. All right, we are good.